Saka and Dewata Cengkar. Many, many years ago, the kingdom of Medang Kamulan was ruled by a king named Dewata Cengkar. This king had a strange and frightening habit. He liked to eat human beings. One day, a young traveler arrived in the kingdom. He was called Saka. Saka took shelter in the house of a widow who quickly came to look upon the young man as her own son. When he heard of the king's strange appetite, Saka sympathized with the villagers' plight and immediately volunteered to become the king's next meal. Saka went directly to the king's palace. "I'm willing to be your next meal, your highness. However, I have a request," said Saka to the king. "Whatever you please, young man, I will grant your request," the king replied. "Before you eat me, grant me some land, just enough length of my own headcloth," continued Saka. "Come, young man, let's measure your headcloth so that I can have my meal and you can have your land," agreed the king. Saka began to unwrap the cloth tied around his head. The king got down from his throne and held one end of the headcloth. He stepped backward. What he didn't know was that this headcloth was much longer. The king kept going backward, step by step, as the cloth kept unraveling. He stepped backward through the palace square, backward across the village, holding the end of Saka's headcloth. The king kept stepping backward until he reached the sea cliffs of the sea. A great crowd of people had gathered. They held their breath as their king took his final step backward over the cliff's edge and plunged into the waves, crashing against the rocks at the foot of the sea wall.